Eric Whitacre. Hello. Welcome to the Expo. How's your experience here been so far?
It's amazing. I love this Expo. This is like the third or fourth year that I've attended, and the energy here is palpable. It's just incredible. So many creative people. I love it.
Well, tell me about that energy. Like, how have you had? Did people come up to you after your panel to talk about choral things?
Yeah, and you know what's cool. That's one of the best things about the Expo is that it's just so open, right? That even before the talk and then immediately after the talk, there's just the sense that anyone can talk to anybody. And so, yeah, I spent a lot of time talking about not only classical music, but there were a number of people that came to my session that were just kind of curious. And so they came up with ideas, and we exchanged cards and websites, and it's nice. It's a good way to meet people too.
So, speaking of the ideas, I want to hear about this virtual choir project that somehow went viral, like over the past, 6 months or so?
Yeah.
Tell me how you conceived of that and what it's become.
So it's the craziest thing. This video, this young woman posted a video of herself singing the soprano part to a piece of mine called Sleep. And a friend of mine sent me the link to it and said, "You got to see this." And I watched it, and it was just so beautiful. And it occurred to me that if I could get a bunch of people to do the same thing, upload their parts, and somehow get them all to sing at the same time, at the same speed, then we could cut it together and make a virtual choir. So I made a conductor's track, and everyone sang to that in their own rooms at their own time, uploaded the videos over a series of months, and then we cut it together and posted it, and it went viral. It's had a couple million hits now. I never would have imagined.
So what kind of response have you had to it? Just from people watching or following up?
Yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of people say that they tear up or that it moves them emotionally, which is, it's pretty amazing. It's what I always hoped my music would do is somehow reach out across technology like that and viscerally affect people. But then also it's given me the chance to, I got invited to this TED conference to speak about it and some other media things. And so if nothing, hopefully it's making choral music even more mainstream than it was before.
And was that your intent when you started writing choral music?
No, not at all. But you know, with choral music, I know for me and all the other choir geeks, I'm choir geek #1 in the world. But all the choir geeks around the world, there's so many of us, and we feel like it's totally mainstream. You know, everybody we know sings in a choir, and so it's just right below the surface. So it was never an intention to make it like that, but it's fun to kind of, especially now with Glee and with American Idol and live singing being so hot right now. It's fun to be a part of that wave.
That's a really interesting point you bring up about Glee. Where like we had Darren Criss from Glee,
yeah.
who's like the Warblers guy, perform for Rod Stewart at our Pop Awards a couple nights ago, and
wow.
Videos we've filmed of him are by far the most seen YouTube videos we've uploaded.
Yeah.
So, are you completely comfortable and rah-rah about the advent of Glee and what it's done for music?
Yeah, I like Glee. I actually like the TV show. It's fun. And second, for what I'm doing, it couldn't be better. Because it makes singing look like what it's supposed to be, which is fun and interesting and beautiful and a great way to be with people. And even if it's not, say, legitimate choral singing like what I do most of the time, it's a gateway drug in a way. You know, it gets people interested, and then maybe they go a little further and find out what hardcore choral singers are doing on the other side.
So I'm interested about that idea of legitimacy in choral music. Like, is there a hard and fast defining line between what serious choral musicians are doing and then people that are just
It's a good
doing
question.
it for fun?
What's so strange is there's this spectrum that if you're an orchestral musician, generally the choral music is sort of seen as a ghetto. You know, it's these amateur musicians that don't really read music, and it's nice what they're doing, but it's not that serious. But then if you're someone who knows nothing about classical music, what people in a choir are doing is pretty formal and pretty traditional. So we in the choral world sit in this kind of bizarre place, but then within that there's everything from show choirs and say what they're doing in Glee, all the way to you know, just hardcore avant-garde serious music and musicians who are some of the best musicians in the world. You know, imagine these sight readers who are able to sight read very difficult choral music and sing it. You know, they don't have a a string or a fret or keys to push down. They have to actually do it with their voice. For me, it's like it's the Olympics of classical music.
Do you feel like there is some kind of divide between vocalists and non-vocal musicians?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting better, especially if the singers really know what they're doing. But so often, you'll hear conductors refer to the singers and the musicians. And I know singers always get pissed when they hear that.
You must bristle when you do that too.
Yeah, but then at the same time, singers have such a good time, we don't really care. We know where the bar is after the gig.
Well, I mean, you're a choral composer for the most part. And
yeah.
You're essentially writing symphonies or orchestral pieces for voices.
For
voices.
Yeah, mostly. That's right. I'm starting now to write more and more orchestral music. But yeah, mostly I write for voices. And I adore it. I love everything about writing for voices. The exploration of the texts and the poetry. And just singers. I like being around singers. I find them really fun people.
So that's a perfect segue. I need to hear about how you got into choral singing.
Well, yeah, it's true. I did it to meet girls. I wasn't going to join the choir. I'd seen it in high school. I'd seen what geeks all the people in choir were. They'd go to these Renaissance dinners and wear the hats and the coats and the Henry VIII outfits. And I definitely was not going to be part of that. And a friend of mine said, there's a bunch of cute girls in the soprano section. And at 18, that would have motivated me to do just about anything. And I'm so glad that I joined. I mean, it changed my life. And like I said, now I'm the biggest choir geek. I'd wear a Henry VIII outfit in a second.
Well, you also ended up finding a cute blonde.
Yeah, I did find the cutest blonde. Yeah, my wife, who is the soprano, and she doesn't sing in choir. She's a soloist. She's actually the real musician of the family. She's unreal. Just truly an incredible musician.
So tell me what you've seen at the Expo this year that has really thrilled you or engaged you.
Well, the first part about the Expo is I can't believe the attendance now. I thought last year was crowded. This year is just over the top. And there also seems to now be a genuine blurring of genres. I remember a few years ago I came in and there was this sense like this is the pop part, this is the rock part, this is the hip hop part, this is the classical people were over here, film people over here. But now there seems to be real discussion and interaction with all of them. Everybody just seems to be interested in trying new things, and that's very cool.
So is it sparking some creative ideas for you?
Oh yeah. In fact, I was just after my session, I was talking to a DJ, and this woman, a young woman, she was saying she'd love to, do an orchestral work with DJ, and I said that's right up my alley. So we exchanged cards, and we'll see what comes of it.
It sounds amazing. Well, I hope to be able to debut a track from that forthcoming album project next year's Expo.
Sounds perfect, man.
Eric, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man. Sure.